You're second guessing yourself all the time. Feels like you're never going to get it in the beginning, and it's normal. It's all part of this. It's absolutely part of every facet of learning how to do this. Nobody tells you that in their coursework. Nobody tells you in advance. And I told everybody before they join in on mentorship, it's going to be hard, and it would be better for you not to fucking join. The last group, I tried to talk them out of it. Guess what? Some of them realized once they got in, wow, this is a lot more than I thought it was. Yeah. You're competing with yourself. And look how formidable you are when you want shit your way. You're just like me. They name roads after you, one way. And if you're used to doing it your way, and your way is counterintuitive and counterproductive to how I'm telling you the proper way of learning how to do this is, this wrestling match is going to go on a long time before you relinquish your grasp on what you think you should be doing and how you should be learning versus someone that knows how to do it and can do it and is teaching you properly, and stop arm wrestling me. It's a whole lot of mental baggage that you have to contend with when you're brand new. Things that you're going to worry about that aren't really worth worrying about, but they feel like they should be worried about. And the things that you should be focusing on and concerning yourself with, you're not going to want to do it because it feels like there's no benefit in that right now. And that's where people fall victim. Trading, once you know what you're doing and know what you're looking for, is easy. Finding successful, profitable setups is easy. Absolutely easy. It's next to impossible in the beginning because you're in the way. You want to be taught this way, this style. You want me to put my videos up by this time of the day. All of that is going to be a conflict internally for you. And you have to adjust and adapt, just like you'll have to do as a speculator. The markets aren't going to deliver a setup every single day like you want it to. You might go in with a bias that's bullish, and it gives you a clear reversal. You know, if you try to do what you're trying to do at the beginning of the day, now it's going to result in a loss. Are you going to take the reversal? Some of you will be, nope, I'm never going to do that. And that's going to close my charts. And guess what? That's wisdom. Others are going to be more flexible and say, you know what? This is what I was expecting. It's not there. It's obviously going to go lower. I'm changing gears. I'm adapting. I'm going in there. No problem. Guess what? Does it make you a better trader? This means that you know yourself better than the next person. And others are going to say, fuck you. I'm not going to change my bias. This is the way it is. And if I get stopped out, I'm okay with that. And guess what? That's wisdom. You know yourself. You're not going to be wrecked emotionally and psychologically because you took a loss. You know that chances are you're probably going to lose, but you're going to follow this system and you're going to keep the loss at a minimum. Okay. All three of them are right. All three of them have different results. All three of them are comfortable with the results. See a difference there? Versus it has to be the best outcome all the time or it's unacceptable. That's what new traders like me, when I first started, that's what I thought was realistic, and it's not. Books and teachers and gurus have a tendency, and I am guilty of this too. If you just watch a few of my videos at certain points, it sounds like it's a sugar fest. Like it's just easy, go out there and pluck the dollar bills off the tree and it's going to be a cakewalk for everybody. No. If you listen to every one of my videos, you'll hear me talk about what I've been bloviating here. You're going to have to work your ass off. And you're going to have adversities. You're going to have things challenge you. And that's good. You want that, because when you go through those moments and you press through and you can still find consistency, you're never going to be fearful of going into drawdown. It isn't going to be a factor for you to want to quit. And you need that, because there's going to be lots of things that's going to make you want to quit. The easiest way for you not to want to quit is don't trade with live money until you know exactly what you're doing. Because everybody quits when they start trading with an account with real money before they should. Everybody quits that. Everybody does. That's why the percentages, if you believe the statistics, that's why it's so high that 90% of them lose their account in the first 30 to 90 days. That statistical probability that is always going to shine through on a trader that has no model, no respect of risk, that goes in there and just keeps on buying, over leveraging, adding more contracts, even when they're in drawdown. That type of stuff results in that. And think about what they've learned. The books say all the same shit. Sure, they might say control your losses and, reduce risk and have a stop loss, but they don't teach you how to wrestle with it. That's what I'm telling you in all these boring parts of these videos or in these spaces. This is the stuff that you need. You need this. You need this more than you need an entry pattern. You need this more than you need to know how to know when a fair value gap is going to stay open. You're making mountains out of anthills. And you're trying to climb Mount Everest in shorts and flip-flops with other things that are more weightier. Like, you're avoiding the things that I'm telling you that this is the stuff. This is the stuff that's not in books. This is the stuff that you're going to have to wrestle with, and it's going to be the catalyst for you to quit. How do you endure it? How do you identify as this is normal? I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. Don't do the foolish things, and I will get the results I'm looking for. It won't be a straight line from start to finish to success. You're going to have this ebb and flow, up and down, peaks and troughs. And every one of those things needs to be logged as an experience. What you feel, what anxieties that you feel. Not that you're beating yourself up, but you want to recognize. It's realistic for you to recognize, admittedly, I'm feeling apprehension about going into the market because the market looks like it's indecisive right now, and I don't have a clear depiction of what I think the weekly chart's going to do. But if I have to make a decision, I would side on the market going higher. And this is why. And then at the end of the week, you go back and refer to how you felt about that instance. If you're right, you commend yourself. I'm glad that I was able to have the confidence to record in my journal, not take a trade. Okay, totally different. Because what you're doing is you're fortifying your mind with positive self-talk. Even when you have a bad negative response to an engagement, we'll do a live session, right? And I'm expecting the market to do certain things. And maybe humanity creeps in that day and you see me get it wrong. You're going to go into your journal, if you journal at all. You're going to say, oh yeah, ICT got it wrong today. I'm second guessing all this stuff. This probably feels like a scam. This isn't working today. This pattern didn't work. If there was a smart money entity out there, it wouldn't have ever let this fail. The algorithm's probably being changed. Everybody's watching the live stream. All this negative stuff you're dumping into your journal or holding it in your head is going to compound over time. And it's going to prevent any new understanding or learning by your experiences with the concept and me sharing it with the live. You won't learn. You're building up walls. And it feels like you're protecting yourself from a letdown. You don't want to do that in your journal. In your journal, if you do something wrong or if we experience an outcome that was not favorable, like we were wanting something to pan out in the marketplace and it doesn't happen, you can go into your journal and say, okay, this is what we were expecting. I was expecting to see this happen in the market, but we observed this. What I've taken away from this instance is I shouldn't be worrying about the amount of money, because even though this was wrong, it would have been a measured amount of risk that it's palatable for me. So this is not a letdown. This is not a chasm that I can't cross. It just means this is a speed bump. And I'm excited to learn how I'm going to be able to accomplish the restitution of any drawdown that this could have created, but hasn't. And I'm thankful for that. See the difference between what I would otherwise would have been said by somebody in a tweet. Man, I fucked up today. I took that trade and it was a fucking loser. Man, I'm never going to get this. Think about that. Some of you may not tweet that, but you're thinking it when you do shit in your demo or your funded account. Versus what I just said moments before that. We're recording positive self-talk. You never, ever, ever beat yourself up in reflection. Never do that. That's why women look, and young men too, look at themselves in the mirror and they think they see an ugly person. They think other people see an ugly person because maybe someone said something stupid to them on social media, or they are not getting recognized for what they think they should look like, and they start having hatred toward themselves. You're ugly. I need to do this. I need to lose weight. I'm going to starve myself. I'm getting a nose job. I'm getting whatever. Instead of learning how to cope with it and say, you know what? That person might not find me terribly attractive, But fuck them. I'm not sleeping with them. I don't have a relationship with them. I am going to find someone, if I'm not already in a relationship with somebody, and they're going to love me for who I am because I'm providing them a wholesome partnership. And I want that. And they see past what I look like. So it's self-talk. That's something that I had to learn when I was battling high anxiety. I had debilitating anxiety. I had agoraphobia. I had a fear of being around. I could never have done what I'm doing with you right now. I don't know how many people are listening or even staying with me this long, but I would never be able to do what you see me do today. I would be too concerned about the opinions of other people because of who I am. You know, the way I was raised, I was brought up, and I have deep scars that were childhood based, not trade based, not performance based. Okay. But they're childhood scars. And I've lived my life, even at 50 years old. I can tell you honestly where I feel these things. And it's because of things that I encountered as a child, not having my parents raise me, you know, not having the affection or the encouragement of my parents. So I teach my kids hard, but they all know I love them. They all know I'm looking for them to do well. And that's when I'm talking to them in these presentations and you feel like I'm talking to you. That's why you like listening to me, because you get that father figure mentality from me, because I am being the father to my kids here. When I'm talking like this, I'm thinking of Caleb. I'm thinking of Cody. I'm thinking of Hayden. I'm thinking of Cameron. I'm thinking about them. They're in my mind as I'm talking. Sometimes one face more than the other because of the things that they do or things that they won't do when I tell them to do it. So self-talk is really important, being positive about even a negative experience, because every person, and I learned this from Linda Bassett, if you have anxiety, if you ever had a anxiety or a panic attack, which I had many times as a young man, almost daily, multiple times, to the point where I felt like I was having a stroke or a heart attack. And I'd go to the emergency room, sometimes in an ambulance, put me on an EKG, your heart's fine, there's nothing wrong with you. In 10 minutes, as soon as they told me I was fine, heart rate normal, I'm fine, I don't feel like I'm going to pass out, and I'm hungry, let's go get something to eat, and everything's back to normal. I just needed someone who I believed, because they wore a white coat, and I had white coat syndrome, meaning when you get around doctors, your blood pressure goes up, they're going to give you the bad news, you got a terminal illness. It's crazy shit, but it's a real phenomenon. And until those doctors, physicians would say, you're fine, then I was fine. But before I heard them say it, I wasn't fine. High anxiety, 200 beats per minute. That's what my heart's tacking at. And they said, look, if you don't calm down, we have to give you something because your heart will burst. What did that tell me? You're dying of a heart attack. I'm even faster. And my hands are creeping up. My fingers are curling. My wrist is curling. My forearm is curling. My legs are drawing up into my midsection because I blew off all my CO2. And I'm thinking, I'm fucking dying. I'm literally rotting in my flesh right now. That's what's going on in my mind. It's revving up. That's what anxiety can do to you. It's madness. It's crazy. And I learned coping skills from Linda Bassett. Attacking Anxiety is a wonderful book. Even if you don't have anxiety, it's a good read, because chances are you're going to meet someone, or someone that's in your circle of friends and family are going to suffer from anxiety or have a panic attack. And you'll recognize it because you understand from reading that book how to cope with it. And the first coping skill I learned from her is distraction. I would wear my watch, and the first thing is you want to look at your sweep second hand on your watch. You don't want to use a digital. Okay, that's why all my watches all have a sweep second hand. No matter what watch brand, I have to have a sweep second hand, because it just gives me a sense of security knowing that if I'm in a place, I'm out in public, and like when I was waiting for my son to have his surgery on Friday, that's why I was quiet on Twitter. That's why there was no trades taken on Twitter Spaces, nothing like that. He had a surgery, probably like the 80th surgery on his throat since he was a little one. And I didn't have anxiety going in, but when they told me his surgery would have supposed to have ended by 10:30, they didn't come out to get me in the waiting room. And here it is, it's 11 o'clock, and now it's 11:10. And I don't see his number updated on the screen. It says he goes from surgery to post-op recovery. So he's still under anesthesia in my mind, which they didn't update the thing, and they didn't know I didn't bring my cell phone, which is also why I didn't tweet yesterday, because I didn't bring my cell phone. Otherwise, I've been tweeting like a storm, distracting myself. But then I started having a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, I hope everything's okay. But you can't go back there because of COVID bullshit that doesn't exist anymore. You can go around other people, okay? People are going around other people all the time. We're wearing masks, for fuck's sake. So if my loved one is back there, let me go back there. But they don't let you do that. John Hopkins down there, they're just real, like, it's tight as a bull's ass in there. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't go here, you can't go there. And I'm waiting in the lobby, waiting. So I was like, okay, I'm feeling anxious. I look at my sweep second hand on my watch, and I do exactly what I learned from Linda Bassett. You literally count the seconds. Every time that sweep second hand goes to 1 more second interval, and it ticks around the face of the clock, you're saying the number and counting it. You cannot, it's impossible. It's impossible to do 2 minutes of rotation around that. If you're counting out loud, either whisper or with your lips, looking and watching that sweet second hand, whatever scary thing or negative thought that you were thinking that you were making yourself scared and anxious about, in 2 minutes, it goes away. You have to distract yourself from that negative thought. Every panic attack, every anxious moment, every feeling of rage starts with a moment of a thought or a response to something. So as soon as you feel that, if you're in a bad trade, okay, and you feel like you're going to get stopped out and you're just worrying about it, but you're not going to fucking close the trade, look at your second hand on your watch. You should have a watch. I don't care if it's a fucking Casio. I don't give a shit. Sweep second hand on a watch. And you literally distract yourself from watching the chart. Look at your sweep second hand on your clock, on your wristwatch. Wherever it starts, as soon as you look at it, it's okay. Now count. 1 second interval. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're watching the watch. You're seeing it tick. You're anticipating it subconsciously, it ticking forward, and you're saying the number. There's no fucking way that you can worry about that stop loss now. You're distracted. Whatever negative thought, whatever fearful thing is causing you to be panicked, you're having an anxiety moment. Dismiss yourself if you're at work or if you're around other people. Dismiss yourself. Go to a bathroom, go to a stall, go to outside or whatever. My thing was I had to come home. Whenever I was out in public, I had a public attack of panic and anxiety. My safe spot was home. No matter where I was, I had to go home. When I got home and I still had panic attacks, I found out that my world was shrinking. Then I had to go to my bedroom. And I had to be in this chair, in this bedroom to feel safe. And then when I had anxiety attacks there, I'm like, where the fuck can I go now? It was debilitating. And I didn't want to be around other people because I was afraid they were going to say something that was going to trigger me. And it was all around that 9/11 bullshit. That's when I was having anxiety. It wasn't trade related. It was all terrorists and they're going to get you type shit. That's why I don't give a fuck about it now. No, I don't give a shit. They could drop a bomb on my house. I don't give a fuck. Instant death, instant glory. I ain't worried about it. But the way you tackle your mental baggage and fear and anxiety is you have to, number one, first distract yourself. And if you're looking at a sweep second hand on a watch for 2 rotations, that's 2 minutes. Whatever negative feeling that's causing you to release adrenaline, you're a Ferrari.